Oh, what's up, you guys? Happy Friday. Now he's gonna try to be serious.
Pull together here.
We all look really sunburned. I don't know if the sun's gotten like more potent in the last 2 days, but we look real red. So, yeah. So if you know us, you know that we like both wear our hearts on our sleeves, and we both cry kind of at the drop of a hat. So we were just watching America's Got Talent, like all the golden buzzer.
Yeah, you want to see where you're at on an emotional scale. Just throw on America's Got Talent, Golden Buzzer replays. Yeah.
So if we look sunburned and like we've been crying, well, we probably have been. So whatever. I was like, thanks for that. Needed that. But then we're talking about Braden's been making a ridiculous face. And I was like, you have to stop making that face.
Courtney has certain pet peeves. And yet again, if you don't know her, she doesn't wear just her heart on her sleeve. She tends to vocalize everything through her sleeve as well.
And if you don't know Brandon, he likes to push my buttons like, oh, you don't like that? I'm going to do it a little bit more. Hence the other day while he was wearing, and he always does this before our live videos. I'm like, what happens to you before we start? Anyway, we digress, you guys. All right, so it has been super heavy in the world. Our topics have been super heavy this week. So we want to talk about something fun that we've been doing that we're going to do.
Set that heaviness down.
Right. So we want to talk about something you guys can possibly do. We'll talk about vision boarding and then real life vision boarding. So why we do it, what's fun about it, and kind of how it can shift the state that you're in a positive way.
So, I think we're talking about, different things that we could discuss and different things. And it's like Courtney said, everything we've been talking about lately has been ultra, obviously serious, very heavy. There's been scenarios that we've been dealing with on our end, both personal and business-wise, that we've been juggling with. And obviously, it's just been, I think heavy is a good word for it this week. But, we were talking on the sense of, things that we like to do that obviously, gives us a vision for the things we want for our future, but also in the sense of it allows us to get outside of current scenarios or things that we're dealing with right now. Because I know in my own past endeavors is I tend to be that very masculine energy and just like constantly go and not really take any look around and kind of see where we're currently at, and then also look at where we've been, but also at the same time it was always that sense of like, well, I can't get outside, I can't vision, I can't do all these things because I haven't accomplished XYZ. And so one thing we've been doing, Courtney's been doing this a little bit more as of late than I have, just because she's been the one finding and texting and doing all these kind of things.
Let me go back to where this started. Let's back up a second. So I believe in vision boarding. So the idea of like, we talk about all the time, like, where do you want to be in your life? Who are you going to be when you get there, and what's it going to feel like, right? And so some of this is, the woo-woo, like, oh, I just want to see it on a board, whatever. I love vision boarding, but there's actually a ton of science behind first you see it. So I was talking with one of the gals from the gym this morning about the saying that I grew up on is I'll believe it when I see it, versus I'll see it when I believe it, right? And so if you don't follow Joe Dispenza, if you've never read any of his work, there's actual scientific data. It's not just the woo-woo land of like, oh, be positive, right? And Brandon sometimes calls me out on being too woo-woo, which is funny if you knew me 2 years ago. But anyway, like there is actual scientific data of what happens in your brain when you think certain things and when you see certain things, right? So for the last week, I've been doing the same meditation every single morning, right? And it walks you through like walking into your dream house and what does it feel like, and seeing the things and seeing your perfect partner come through and going to work and what does that feel like, and envisioning all the abundance and the money and all of the stuff that you want in your life. And it's been really powerful and crazy how real some of the stuff feels. So I was like, wow, I don't even know if I know what our dream house actually looks like. So I started looking at houses. And I was doing it yesterday with Carson, which was actually really fun because, like, when you're 6, everything, she's like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, right? And going through the stuff and finding the houses in Colorado that are like $9.2 million, which like that's way beyond what I would actually ever want because that's not the field that I want. But looking at certain things, it's been really interesting to see what it actually feels like to spend time looking at this stuff every day, right? So in my mind, and now I have this like imaginary dream house that I envision every day. It's not a dream house, it's the future house, right? Got to change your language. So, but like I see it, I feel it, and every day it gets a little more real and a little more real and a little more real. But it allows you to actually get in that energy of the thing. So sorry, now you can continue.
That explained it a lot better than I did.
Sorry.
But it, you know, for us, it's just like repetition of anything else, right? Like when we first saw it, you know, and I will admit, like before, my language surrounding a lot of those things, even though, you know, I knew the repetition, knew the visualization and stuff on an athlete standpoint, but there was always that sense of, you know, we all like money stories, worthiness stories, a lot of different things that kind of go into, you know, the vision boarding and actually those things, right? Because yet again, there's a difference between like, yeah, that'd be sweet, I'll put it on the wall, versus like actually, like Courtney said, is feeling and not just visualizing and like maybe once upon a star, right? But actually seeing, smelling, tasting, putting yourself in that scenario has actually been one of the, you know, I was doing the kind of looking through the stuff that she sent me this morning. It was actually really, really fun, right? Like it was one of those things of like, you know, the kids could play over there. We could set up this over here. I can imagine us hanging out on the patio, doing those kind of things that allowed me to yet again kind of displace myself from the emotional aspects and the emotional things in the kind of the scenario where we've been talking about for the last, you know, 3 months. But on reality on this, of really just seeing, okay, this is all these things are the culmination and still driving aspects where it's fun, but at the same time still creates that vision for what we want to implement into our life, right? And so by seeing those things, it's like, well, you know, that looks good, doesn't look good, but at the same time, like, you know what, that'd be great, right? Like we could set up the playground over there. The kitchen would be way more accessible than what we have right now. But I think by being able to do that, you guys, that's been a little fun thing that we've been implementing for ourselves, especially in times like this when I think hope and dreams and all those kind of things can be hard to find when we're fixated in fear, when we're fixated in a lot of things that in a lot of the emotional components that we've been feeling as of late. But, you know, sometimes when you kind of can see a different vision, you can start asking yourself different questions, and all of a sudden those things that maybe once upon a time didn't seem very realistic, the more I know I've seen it, because when I first saw the price tag of a couple of those, like, that's funny, right? But now it's like, you know what? That actually, you know, if we really did some things and it created that sense of like internal drive and internal just like, okay, that would be awesome, right? But it created that sense of like, you know what? That's not far-fetched, right? Like that really...
But it's also, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. It's also releasing the how, right? And so here's what I know to be different for me is like, I used to see it and be like, okay, great idea, right? Whatever. But I never felt it, right? And so now for me, like doing it in a place of meditation and like actually feeling the things, right? It's like bend down, feel the floor, see the pictures, right? And like in my mind, when I look at the pictures, I see all the places we're going to take our kids. Like, and it's like really actually being there, right? So it's like gratitude. It's being in the feeling of, not just the imagination of like, well, that would be great. But like, how are you going to feel when that is your life? What is it going to feel like? The one we were looking at actually is like on a lake, which I didn't know really was like a thing in Colorado, close to where we live. So that's cool, right? And so like, what's it going to feel like to like sit out there and meditate on that deck and like do the things, right? And did you see the water slide? There's a water slide on the one we were looking at today that Carson hasn't even seen. But anyway, but like, so sorry, I just totally hijacked you, but I'm gonna take this to the next place. So vision boarding is cool, but the next step of that is real life vision boarding. So tomorrow, our kids are gonna go to grandma's for a sleepover, which everyone's excited about because everyone's been stuck in this house for, you know, we're out of the house now, but like there hasn't been a lot of interaction with other people, except for the last few weeks. So they're going to grandma. So we're going to go real life vision board, right? So we're going to go look at the cars we want to buy, look at the trucks that we want to buy, like be in them, right? Like look at those things. We're going to go to that neighborhood. We're going to see those houses. We're going to be in it, because once you can actually tangibly like touch it, even if it's not the house you're going to move into, you start to see yourself and feel yourself in a different place, right? And there's so much power in like, oh yeah, that's this whatever. And again, it's not that it's just about having things, but it's who are you in that moment? How does it make you feel? And what are you capable of doing? Because I know to be true is that if we are able to have more money, do this, we also have more impact on more people. We can change more lives. All of that stuff comes with it. It's not just like all about, we just got to go get more money, because that doesn't actually inspire us. But I know that with that level of success to get to those places, that means we have all of these other things that we're capable of doing for the world.
Well, and I think it's also, you know, one thing I'm actually reading right now is now the Finding Your Purposeful Life by Eckhart Tolle. And the funny thing is, I actually bought that book, The Purpose of Life, Purpose-Filled Life. I actually bought that book like 14 or 15 years ago. And, you know, life will deliver messages when you're ready to hear it, right? And I know if any of you guys have read it, like it's very in depth of like consciousness and talking about ego and very what I would prior to this label of like woo woo, like this would not register whatsoever. But it's also in those circumstances, you know, when we're talking about vision boarding and all the other things is, you know, in the part that I'm reading right now is discussing heavily on ego, right? It's not wrong to want things in your life that have material value to them. It's understanding that, you know, when we leave this earth, that you don't get to take any of those things with you, but it's understanding that, you know, it's when you become those things, that's when the alternative of beneficial components kind of deteriorates through those, right? Like I need that it's vision boarding on the sense of like, well, we want those things because I want to validate who I am, right? And it's like, well, that's not really what any of this is essentially about when you're going through a vision board process. It's being able to see, you know, what type of person you want, or how do you want to feel in that moment, right? Like, what is you like to experience? All those kind of aspects, not necessarily of vindicating you as a person or that make you feel more worthy as a human being, but on the sense of allowing yourself to really experience the things that you want to create in your life.
Yeah. And it's also looking, when we talk a lot about this stuff, we talk about this with our clients of like looking at your money story. Like, what is your money story, right? Like, is it bad to want a, you know, big house and fancy cars and great vacations, right? Like, if your money story is that like you don't deserve that or only rich people have that and rich people are bad and yada, 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 you got to look deeper into that because like, there is so much money, there's so much abundance in this world, and all you have to do is shift your mind to attract more of it to you, right? And we all deserve it, and there's plenty to go around, and it's not like if we have money that means other people don't, right? But there's a massive shift, and I think almost every single client we've ever talked to, and we know this is true for us, and we work through it every day, is like we have these underlying money stories that keep us stuck, that keep us from really dreaming, that keep us from doing all those things. Think back to when you were a kid. You had all these dreams, right? And that's why it's so fun to look at this with Carson, because she has no idea the difference in what the house we're living in right now costs and the house that we're looking at. She's just like, yeah, that's my bedroom, right? Like, you own it and you claim it. And it's like, we have to shift our minds into actually believing those things and seeing ourselves there, because as soon as we believe it, we will see it. So everything in your life is created once in your mind and once in reality. So if there's a side note, if there's things in your life that are showing up for you, you're creating them first in your mind. So you need to bring awareness to that so you can start to shift those into things that are a better story that you want to live out in your life. I mean, it all goes back to all the things we've talked about. But we want to be less serious today. So if you haven't never done a vision board, go do one. You can do you do real life vision boarding. That's super fun. But if you're not there yet, there's a Hay House app that you can get on your phone. Go grab
Hay House?
Hay House. Yeah.
What it is?
Yeah, well, it's from Hay House. Hay House is a publishing company, but yeah, there's a Hay House app. You can make a vision board. So go to Pinterest, go to Instagram, search whatever, like grab some pictures and put them on this board. And I guarantee you, if you just look at that every single day and actually like be in the feeling, not look at it like, oh, I gotta rush through this, but like find some space, find some time and look at that stuff and imagine what it's gonna feel like and what you're gonna be able to do for your family, for your kids, for the people around you, etc. It will change your world and it will change the reality that time is present, right? Like time is an illusion. We talk about this all the time. We've been in quarantine, you guys. Time is an illusion. If you don't believe that, spend some time leaning into that. I had the hardest time with that in the beginning, but like time is an illusion and space is an illusion and we're really all just energy. So when you can start to believe that's true and understand that your thoughts really will create your reality, spend some time in different thoughts and see what happens. Like if you don't believe me, that's cool. Like go read some stuff, but just do it and you're going to be like, holy buckets, that actually works. I can't believe that actually works. So good.
Yep.
All right, guys, if you have a vision board, send it to us. I'd love to see it. If you want to see ours, we'd be happy to post it. Well, I don't know if you have one, but I have one for us. So maybe Brandon needs to do a real one too. But anyway, you guys, we love and appreciate you. Have an amazing weekend. Let us know if you're doing anything fun, and we'll see you guys back here on Monday.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.